Hey guys, it's Mongolian Mindset, and today we're gonna be typing Raphael. Raphael.
Yep, that's good.
We got Shelly here today. She's gonna be doing most of the talking. Well, we'll just go back and forth. Because I just got my wisdom teeth taken out yesterday, so we're gonna let her do a little bit more talking than usual. But let's get into it, man. You don't have to get into any traumas or anything like that.
Cool.
Um, we're just gonna ask you questions and you answer them the best of your ability, and from there we triangulate down on your best fit personality type, and we try to find your enneagram as well. But go ahead and introduce yourself.
Cool. I'm Rafal. Originally, I'm from Poland. I came to live in the UK when I was 10. Um, don't know. I hated school. It was always quite boring for me. That literally sums up those 10 years from 10 to 20. 20 to 25, I was kind of just mindlessly wandering around, I suppose, just looking for things that interested me. And it was when I was 25, I started looking like, okay, I have to start acting and doing stuff to start growing, as a person, start figuring this life thing out. And so in the last 6 years, I've been in a finance role. And during COVID, I realized I really like web development. So I've started learning that. I quickly jumped on web design. I then jumped on branding. And now I'm trying to make that into a business. But yeah, that's like roughly the summary of my path so far.
So what was it that you hated about school?
You know, it's always about, the curriculum and nothing but there wasn't, I couldn't really expand in it, I felt. Like I always did extracurricular reading outside, but school just felt like a prison to me. There's something about being told what to do all the time. And it mostly seemed to test memory, I suppose, and that bothered me greatly because I knew I would forget the stuff at some point and I wouldn't be able to use it, and it just felt so pointless. But I think that the main thing is that it was just kind of forced upon you. It wasn't interesting most of the time. It felt like the teachers were not interested half the time in what they're teaching. I couldn't connect to that one bit.
Okay. How do you go about learning new things?
Um, I bombard my brain with all kinds of research on it. I start playing around with things. I would say I first start learning by getting interested in something. That's always step one, never but. Step two would be research, just see the best people, just what they do, how they do it. And then I would try breaking that apart before testing, just seeing how can I apply this myself before I would probably improve it.
Do you find it hard to get interested in things or?
If I'm not interested, I'm not interested. Do I find it hard? Not really. Like the world's a fascinating place. There's so many things you can learn. I'm not sure how anyone can be bored, to be honest with you. There's always something you can learn, do, practice. Yeah, the world's your oyster. Now with the internet, you've got AI. You know, how can you get bored? I'm not really sure.
So, can I ask you a question? Do you like learning just for the sake of learning?
Um, I suppose like without an application, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Um, I would struggle with that, I think. Like if I'm learning something, I want to do something with it,
Mm-hmm.
you know? Like I wouldn't learn coding, for example. I wouldn't have learned that just for the fun of it, I think. But then again, I found it fun and now I'm finding a use for it by
Mm-hmm.
starting a business. So I guess the interest comes first. Maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe. The interest has to come first. I'm not sure if that helps.
So,
Okay.
can you tell us about your social life?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. I'll give a bit of background as well. Maybe this will be helpful for you. During my early 20s, I stayed quite a lot, like, inside the house. I only interacted with one close friend. That was mostly because I had, I don't know, remnants of social anxiety. It wasn't because I don't like hanging with people. I've started facing that when I was 25, and since then I've only been increasing how much I interact with people. You know, I join socials now. When I go to work, I'm mostly there to socialize in the office, right? I do most of the work when I'm here at home, my office. But yeah, I always want to catch up with people, you know, go for a coffee. I spend a lot of time with my fiance, AD. She's a part of your group.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's how I joined. Yeah, I've started like actually, you know, asking people if they want to hang now. I've organized a trip to, it's a place called Lake District, bunch of lakes, you know, little mountains and stuff in England with a friend of mine. That's in 2 weeks. So I'd say I socialize with close friends. I don't make much effort with new people though, to be honest. More than before, but not as much as some, I'm sure.
Okay, where do you see yourself in the next 5 to 10 years?
Well, based on what I've been learning, I would like a profitable business. Yeah, I would really like a profitable business with to do with the, you know, basically a web agency, I suppose. I don't really see myself living in the UK in 5 years. I thought a lot about this, so we might move somewhere. I don't really have an exact idea of how this all looks like, but I know roughly the direction I'm going in. You know, do what I like, get paid for it, and live somewhere else that's, I don't know, good quality of life, but cheaper than the UK.
Okay, so
Do you find it difficult to make decisions?
Difficult to make decisions.
Why or why not?
I would say yes, because I see like a stream of possibilities, I suppose. There's always, you know, so many directions that a decision could take you. And if it's something tiny, no problem. Like, hey, do you want to go out today? Okay, fine, right? If it's, hey, what do you want to do with your future? Like, I can, whilst trying to work to it, I will struggle with making, I don't know, a new decision sometimes. Sometimes it could take me a month, you know, to decide on something. And sometimes it can be quick because it just matches interests, who I am, that kind of stuff.
Okay. What is something you think the next generation needs?
Oh boy, that's a big one. I like that. Honesty would be a good one. Like, I feel like all the systems we have, like, let's say education, it doesn't cover everything. And I see a lot of people always having what I would consider dishonest discussions about various topics. No one really knows what anyone else is saying. They don't know what they're saying themselves half the time. Everyone's more towards conflict without respecting the opposite point of view. It's like, I don't know, people are almost like avoiding truth half the time, it feels like. And that's one of the things. I can think of many more.
Sorry, I thought you were done.
All good, sorry.
How do you feel about confrontation, conflict?
I'm not against it. Like, I'm not a pacifist in any way. If I get in conflict, I'd do okay, probably. I would probably get slightly riled up, if I have to be honest, emotionally speaking. I wouldn't want to hurt the person if I don't have to, either. Or if it's an argument. Well, if it's an argument, that's a different story. I would just be me. You know, I'm all about truth, honest discussion. I don't really care how it makes you feel per se. That can be confrontational as well, I guess, right? But that's perfectly fine. It's probably the right thing to do, even, if anything. Yeah, I don't think I have too much trouble with it, but I would avoid it if it's physical. I don't see a point there.
Okay. What do you think is your best attribute that separates you from other people?
I'm honest to a fault, I think.
Honesty. You think honesty has got you to where you are in life?
I think that's why my friends are still my friends. I think that's my fiance trusts me, obviously. It's the one thing I value about myself. I was in a sales role, for example, and I don't know what you know about sales or if you ever were in that environment, but whenever my boss would start hovering around me and basically pushing me to push the customer towards something, the only thing I can think of is like, they just don't need it. I've asked them, I know what they need. I know everything about them at this point. They're my best friends, and I just want to do it because it's bullshit, frankly. Okay. I don't stand for it. So honesty is a massive one for me. Otherwise, I don't know. I think I'm quite creative, in a sense that I'm always trying to think of, I don't know, like a bigger, grander vision for humanity. I guess would be my second best thing. I'm always trying to see how these human systems we're a part of could be improved. I don't really know what else to say, to be honest.
If you had 3 wishes, what would they be?
3 wishes. Okay. I have a lot of wishes. I wish I could restart life and make the same mistakes but faster. That would be nice. I feel like I wasted a lot of time, essentially. I wish I had a really good role model, whether now or in the past, someone I highly respect that I can talk with, that could help to guide me. I feel like I was lost for a long time, and that's always helpful, I find. Yeah, do these wishes, like me thinking in the past, make any sense to make for you guys?
No,
Is
it
that
makes
helpful?
perfect fine.
Okay. I just wish I started everything earlier, to be honest, instead of being so uncertain of what to do and where to go with my future,
So
That's
you
really
kind of
it.
worry about the future.
Do I worry about the future? I don't worry about my future,
Mm-hmm.
but I know I'll figure everything out. I'm a natural problem solver. That's just what I do. If something's bad, I'll figure it out. Not a problem. So not really, no. But it's mostly the past where my mistakes lie, I think. Um, Not that they're a bad thing necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What is something you struggle with?
Um, if I'm not invested in something, like whether it's interest or emotion, I really struggle doing it. So I have a side gig. I work for my family as a bookkeeper as well, just to
Mm-hmm.
earn some extra cash. I always do it at the last minute because I hate it. I just struggle pushing myself to do things I don't want to do. Like I know I'm supposed to be exercising.
Mm-hmm.
I have a whole routine planned out, but I don't know. I'm just not doing it. So yeah, discipline, I guess you could call it. I struggle with discipline.
What are
Yeah.
what are some things that make you feel stressed out?
Okay, I feel stressed out. Big one that comes to mind is when I unintentionally hurt someone. That stresses me out. Um, let's say in a context, I'm having a conversation with a group of friends, and I say something that somehow hurts or scares the other person, right? That bothers me greatly. It's never my intention to do that. What else stresses me out? I guess I'm aware of what I said about confrontation, but physical confrontation would stress me out, I guess. Sometimes it's just fear of fear itself, I feel. That's a big one for me, I think. Yeah, I'm just aware that something could be, I don't know, dangerous, or I don't know, something negative could happen, and that can cause me to inaction, I guess. Like, yeah.
It happen a lot.
Not really. But like before, for some reason, it took me ages to start learning to drive, for example.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like, taking forever just to like get over that fear or concern of like all the possible things I could do wrong, maybe hurt someone or whatnot, right?
Mm-hmm.
So big things like that, I guess. Or I'm currently stressed out because I know I should probably go on something like Upwork to bid for projects and that kind of stuff. And I'm like, what if, not what if, what do I do when I'm rejected? That kind of stuff, that's bothering me slightly. Will it set me back? Will I land clients? Yeah, that's being on my mind quite a bit, actually. So I find that slightly stressful. I will do it, just to prove to myself I can, but stressful, I guess.
Mm-hmm. What got you into typology?
You know what? I've always been interested with anything psychological or philosophical. I was going to go into psychology at some point as a degree, but didn't quite work out that way. I went into business instead, unfortunately. At some point, obviously, I saw 16 personality. I was like, oh, this looks good. And I was quite happy with that for a while until someone pointed out, yeah, that's behavioral stuff. You don't want to look into that. Yeah. You want to look into cognitive function as more. And I was like, okay, cool. AD, my fiance, started getting really into this stuff and started discussing this with me, sometimes on a daily basis, depending on the week.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I can't help it. And then I'm thinking, how can I apply it? I get to know who I am, which I'm still quite confused on. Just exactly how do I work? Just so I know I'm not bullshitting myself, really.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get to the truth of it. And B, I get to know other people. If I can understand how other people, who they are, I don't know, maybe I can help them somehow. Maybe I can be more useful. Yeah.
If you ever went to jail, what would it be for?
Okay, fun one. I always thought I'd be a really good criminal. Okay, always. I think I'd be good at crime for some reason. So being a criminal mastermind until I get caught, I think that's for sure. It wouldn't be for something petty, or maybe offending someone these days. That could totally be on the list. Yeah, I'm not against offending people. Yeah. So one of those two things.
What do you want to be remembered for?
Ugh, remembered for. That's a tough one. Remembered for. Sharing knowledge and or ideas that benefit other people, if I had to pick something. Like, as good as true information as I could possibly give. That's another thing I'm paralyzed on, by the way. Starting a YouTube channel to discuss ideas like that, because what if I'm wrong?
So, what are important things to you other than friends and family?
Important things. I guess my work, improving in this craft I'm trying to build. That's crucial for me. Honestly, it feels like finding who I am and what I want to do with my life besides just getting paid for something interesting. Like knowing how I can actually influence things for the better. That seems to be a big preoccupation of mine. I really enjoyed, I don't know, videos on philosophy and or psychology, or don't know if you guys probably are familiar with someone like Jordan Peterson, watching people like that just discuss ideas. I find that fascinating. It's mostly ideas, to be honest. I go for walks. I consume lots of ideas, and I work on my own business and skills, besides friends and family.
What is something, how does your normal weekend look?
Weekend, Saturday, day and morning, I've dedicated to spending time with my fiance. We go out somewhere, spend time with each other, however we see fit. I don't really plan it, to be honest. It's just whatever works. Sundays, I always try spending on the skill acquisition bit, always. I consider that a me day when nothing can distract me. So I want to have crystal clear focus and spend on my craft just to improve on it and get distracted throughout the day. Yeah.
What's your wife's type, out of curiosity?
Oh, you know what? That's a toughie. She recently had an interview, I guess, like this with C.S. Joseph.
Oh.
And we thought she's INFP for a long time, but turns out, based on whatever he did, plus I think the octagram or something you call it, he typed her intj and gave her exactly why and what, and we've been discussing this since Monday. But yes, apparently she's intj, like an emotional one though, like a very emotional one, and maybe we just didn't understand what intjs are, to be honest. I don't know. I don't.
Maybe
I'm
Enneagram
confused.
4. I don't know. I mean,
yeah,
maybe Enneagram 4. She's probably maybe Enneagram 4. INTJ.
She's apparently 9 wing 1, and then she has, and then the whole tri-type thing, 9 6
But
2
emotional
triple
INTJ?
attachment, I think, or something.
Maybe CSG. Maybe CSG wrong.
Maybe.
I'd say
100%.
I would say book us. I mean, I'd like to do it in the future. I mean, we do it for free. But INTJs, emotional ones, are generally going to be Enneagram 4.
Okay.
So 9 is usually INFPs. So
yeah, I agree.
He feels like very concrete with being a 9. It's usually INFPs, but like I said,
I'll pick it up.
I mean, the best way we can always say is just like do a session with us. We keep the video, we post it. It's not like it's no secret, no mismatch, no whatever. Write down what you say. We got 2 to 3 people looking at you. So we think we had the best process. We're not just one person,
Yep.
just looking at you. So, what do you think about typology in itself? I want your thoughts.
Anything that comes to mind, yeah?
I'm saying, like, what do you think? Like, I have some people, I have some friends who I think have a similar personality type to you. They don't believe it has validity. So I want to know what you think.
I suppose it's not as scientific as some things might be yet, but it's definitely observable. And I take that as good enough to go with. And B, if it works, then we can spend time figuring out how it works. And I think that's more productive. And C, I think it's hella useful. Like I've read stories. I've started reading, your Facebook as well, just seeing how people think about stuff. And there's a difference to when you know who you are. You're not spending time chasing the wrong things as much. You're not spending time focusing on maybe what's already a hyper strength. Maybe I'm supposed to be focusing on, whatever my true weakness is, instead of what maybe people tell me. Like, fuck that. I want to know the truth. Who am I based on who I am, right? So I think it's a great tool. I find it fascinating. I haven't officially studied this stuff yet. I haven't dedicated that kind of time to, just purely because I'm busy with all my other bits.
If I could recommend one book, I'd recommend this one. It's probably like
Projection
all in one right here.
Okay, Carl Shoemate. Make a note.
And it's not that expensive, but it pretty much has everything in it, all in one. I think it's probably the best one.
Perfect.
Going forward, if I was to pick one, it incorporates John Beebe, the functions, That whole thing takes you through a stories, like uses Abraham Lincoln, which they consider to be an INTP. And they talk you about like different ways he uses shadow functions and like how the shadow functions work, and how like the inferior function is really close to the unconscious. It's almost like a trap door. It's like a mirror. It's like a between like the first three functions are like out of the like in the ego, and then the fourth function is like literally so close to the unconscious that it's almost there. And that's the reason why people have trouble with it.
It's amazing.
But yeah.
Okay, I'll definitely give it a shot.
Yeah, you're pretty. You seem like a pretty smart guy. Shelly, you feel ready?
Yeah.
All right, man. So I'm gonna go off what I got, and then Shelly's gonna go off what she got. Okay. First thing I noticed, you said school was very boring. You just wasn't interested into it. You really like web design. School felt like a prison, being told what to do. So I'm gonna hit that for pragmatic because you like your freedom. Okay, so that's pragmatic there. You say you have some type of social anxiety. When I hear that, then I'm gonna hit you with FE. Usually that's FE inferior. When I ask you about like what you want to be in the future, whatever, you jump right to the end product, which is profitable business. That's the outcome. Ask you about another thing. You said, I see the stream of possibilities. That's gonna be, I'm gonna hit you for NE there. See multiple ways things could be done in multiple different routes. That's gonna be NE again. All the systems we have doesn't really carry everything. When you were talking about school, that's gonna be systematic. People avoiding the truth, you don't really like that. So the truth is gonna be hitting around TI. I'm all about the truth. Don't care how you feel. That's gonna be TI again. And I was kind of shun that to like a little bit of pragmatic as well. Honesty is what sets me apart. So basically, you're saying being honest and true and TI. So that's gonna be TI again. You also said next thing was quite creative. On that, I'm gonna hit you with NE, and then you said try to think bigger, grander vision for humanity. I'm gonna put you abstract there. You think about how systems can be improved. That's systematic yet again. You say you would really like to restart your life and make the mistakes faster. That's outcome focus. Okay, you're looking at end product there, and you're not looking through the progression. You like to give help. Don't like hurting people. So that's the FE there is a little well, but you can go wherever you want to with that. All the possibility things I could do wrong. That's going to be NE as well. Little. I can understand other people and be more helpful to people. That's going to be TIFE. I'm not against offending people. That's pragmatic. Sharing knowledge or ideas that benefit people. True information. You want to get it to as true information as you can, and that's why you haven't really started your YouTube channel. That's going to be TI again. If you influence things for the better, that's going to be outcome. So with that being said, I got you as an INTP.
Okay. Interesting.
Shirley, what'd you get?
Same exact thing. I mean, that's the same things that you were observing. I observed. I mean, like you're talking about not wanting to start driving because you're afraid of hurting people. I mean, I have an INTP son, and that was his fear. He actually broke down crying because he didn't want to give up the wheel because he was terrified he was going to hurt someone. So, FE, inferior, and same thing. I mean, you're very abstract when you're talking, very methodical in your approach to life. You want to learn about MBTI so you can help other people. Also, FE,
yeah. So
Quadra, yeah. Sorry.
That's all good.
I have a terrible memory, so I'm like, I try to like.
That's all good.
What he's going over, and then I don't know.
So what INTPs are is they're responding, so they're introverted. They're TIFE, so they care about the truth. They care about the truth more than they care about how other people feel, obviously, because TI is on the axis, and for them, the FE is in the inferior. So they're heavier about the truth, almost a slave to it.
Yep.
And then you're an SINE user. So what you've been responding, TIFE and SINE, that like eliminates it down to like just two types, ISFJ and INTP. And what you being pragmatic and systematic and abstract, that automatically makes you nothing but an INTP.
Interesting. Okay.
And if I was to say Enneagram, you seem to be a 5W6.
Mm.
You're very
I got
interested in
that
learning
somewhere
things.
else.
Yeah, you're a 5W6. So you're very curious. Like a lot of people will say they're fives, but they're not very. Fives are very curious just to learn, for the sake of learning, right? And that's primarily what you do. And then things become an interest for you because after you've like learned and everything like that, then you find a way to make it profitable or whatnot. So yeah, I'm gonna hit you with INTP 5W6. What were you testing yourself as?
So initially it was INTJ, then that turned to ENTJ when we started learning more about the things you just discussed, like, abstract, pragmatic, systematic, all this stuff. And recently we landed on ENTP. And I think that was predominantly because I think the only thing that would change then is
Progression.
outcome progression. So we think I have a lot of progression just based on just how much impatience I carry and how I always sprint towards things almost and figure them out on the go. But based on how I see outcomes and told you about it, I'm now wondering about what outcome of progression is.
So progression is all about the process of things. Whereas outcome is all about the end product.
Yep.
Okay, so that means you're laser focused on the end product. You're like, okay, how is this useful? You said that a lot. Like, how is this useful? Like you're like, I'm learning something. I'm learning how is this useful. So you're looking for that outcome every time. As in a progression person, would just be doing stuff just to do it a lot of times. They're more into like finding the best process of things instead of the outcome. So sometimes like somebody like Shelly can get in trouble because they'll be looking so heavy on the process that they forget about the outcome.
Gotcha. That's
And
the tunnel vision I've heard about.
Yeah, and then
Shetty
more
is Shetty
INTJ.
and okay, got it. Okay.
Yeah. So they're
Awesome.
they're more into the process of things that they forget about the outcome. They're on the journey of life. Life is a journey for them. Not most of the time if you ask the journey focused person would they like to start their life over, generally speaking, they will say no. But as outcome people be like, hell yeah, I'll get the outcomes quicker, I'll get everything done faster. That's just something I've noticed with the people. And like when an outcome person talks, you can literally like listen to them and it's going straight towards something. Like it's boom right at the end. As in like when a progression person talking is just continuation, like it's a journey, like a wave. Yeah.
That's really interesting. Okay, outcome.
Yeah.
I'll do more reading on it, but I'm not disagreeing with anything I've heard so
you're
far.
good, man. Just like we said, we just go by what we see. We tell you. You can go back. Like I said, we'll be posting it. It was an awesome session. So we'll be posting it. So you can go back and look at the comments,
Cool.
and stuff like that. I mean, and especially being web design. I think Shelly has questions for web design, don't you, Shelly?
I was just about to have a website. I was wanting to get it to populate, closer to the first page.
Okay, yeah. I gotcha.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, I was just curious how much SEO can help with that, or if it has more to do with content of your pages.
Yep. Content is king in anything. If people are attracted to your content, everything else follows that in general. So yeah, content is king. It's king above SEO. It is SEO to some point, and then all the keywords and bits like that come afterwards. I'm not as specialized in SEO as some people may be, but that's the gist. Yeah, that's the gist.
And
I can tell you more though. Just hit me up in Facebook and
you're in our Facebook group, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because eventually I'm gonna be we're gonna be making a website, and I kind of want to I don't really know much about web design. I'm just gonna be honest. I'd rather just pay somebody to do it. That's my idea of things. So like I definitely like to keep in touch, man, because that's definitely something.
Keep in touch. I'll help you out if I can, for sure.
Yeah. Just like let me know how much it costs and things. And I'm more of an outcome. I'm like strictly outcome.
You're ENTJ, right?
Yeah, I am strictly outcome, dude. I don't give a shit about the process. I just want it done. Like I just want to turn my head and it be done. Like I'm not like trying to figure out the system. I figure out the system, but it's like if I don't want to, just get it done. I just want it done. Just want it done. Shelly's like, it has to be perfect. I'm like, I just want it done.
I want it done too, man. I
Yeah.
want it done too. You know what? Yeah, we should probably just have another call. I'm totally happy with that. I'll just tell you everything I know, and then you can tell me what you think. Simple
Right.
as that.
Awesome, brother. And if you can, get your wife in here sometime. We love to type her as well, man.
Sure, I'll tell her. Yeah,
Yeah,
she's
because
up for
I
it.
think
Then
the last guy we had, he said C.S. Joseph typed him ESTP, no ISTP,
okay.
and we got ENTJ, and then
Fascinating, huh?
it was pretty clear that he was ENTJ.
Uh-huh.
Within the first, like you know, like you were talking about the truth and everything, he was just talking about achievements, just nonstop achievements. So it's like
T.
TET, yeah.
Hustle,
That's
hustle,
crazy.
hustle, man.
Yeah. So it's good. I don't know, man. You know,
Gotcha.
it is what
I'll
it is.
tell her for sure.
But all right,
Yeah.
bro. I'll see you in the group, man. It was a pleasure.
Yes, sir. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate your time. Thank you.